Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem HaRakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom to the brothers, the elect brothers, doing the work in sincerity and truth. Shalom. Just gonna go into, election, more or less, and just kind of touch on it, because it's essentially everything, that's being done presently in this present time, and really from the beginning has all been for the sake of the elect. I'm just going to show that through the scriptures. It's all about that election, man, and that's really like the core, the focal point of this word. Of what's being of what actions are taking place. Prophecies, everything. It's all for the elect. Start with this. Amos 3:1 says, "Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities." So yeah, the starting point is Israel. As far as to know who the elect is, you got to know who's the Lord dealing with. And then you go to the root of that, it's going to be Israel. It starts off with Israel. And, like it says, out of, the only family against the whole family which was brought up, that's the only one. Israel's the only one that's known. Israel's the only one that's dealt with. And it says, I'll punish you for your iniquities. What's that going into? As far as to understand, what those punishments are taking place from, you need to know about the law and the deal that was basically made, the promise that was made. And then, the laws that were given. But I read this, 2 Ezra 5:23, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one vine, one only vine, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And that one pit is Israel, that land of Israel, where now you've got, false people occupying. And then even when you deal with the full inheritance, there's other than just the small hats, the imposters that are there now, all those regions round about, these guys need to be cleared out, which that's gonna happen. It's gonna be cleansed by fire. It says, of all the flowers therefore one lily, and of all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river. The Jordan. And of all the builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself. So yeah, Zion. And it says what? And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. And of all the cattle, thou hast made, that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto this people, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. So yeah, onto that chosen, and this is the thing, is all throughout the scriptures, it's all about Israel. You're only going to be having it linked back, forward and back, forward and back. It's going to go to Israel. It's only going to be dealing with Israel. So when looking at that, it says what? Thou gave, gotten thee one people, whom thou lovest, and is given a law that's approved of. So that law has been dealt with and given unto Israel. And we can go back to Joel 2:27, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. So as far as we've already clarified, there's been one family chosen, there's been one people chosen and given that law, and then out of the other families, there's none else. Who's the only ones known is Israel, and none else. No one else can sneak in. You can't, the Christians have to come up with being spiritual Jews, which that's just not something that exists. as far as for your nation, your heritage, you go to Numbers, you're going to say that goes through your father's lineage. You go to any of the lines, you go to the line in the line, to Yahushua through Mary, the line to Yahushua for other, well, the one through Mary is an exception, but then it's all the other lineages, it's going to be through the father's line. When you go to, as far as any Israelite, you don't see any of them coming with Dinah as a root for that. That don't exist. Because why? You're dealing with, your father's line, and it's going from the father to the son, father to the son. And that's how, the lineages go. You go with Yahushua, it goes up through the fathers, goes to Joseph, and goes up to, up to David, man. Then up to Noah, then up to Adam. You got the lineages set. And my people shall never be ashamed. Yeah, Israel's the one being dealt with. So then on that, so Romans 9:6 will say, not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. So, when you go into the elect, Israel, the nation of Israel is being dealt with, but then it's like, okay, who's that election? And then the clarity is not all Israel it's not all Israel which are Israel. You got, enemies in the ranks. You got adversaries about, man. Those are of the father, the devil, man, amongst Israel. As such, what? It says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall their seed be called. So yeah, just being the seed of Abraham. Ishmael's the seed of Abraham. Esau's the seed of Abraham. But it says, but in Isaac shall their seed be called. Okay, so Ishmael's out. That's 6 sons by Keturah is out. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. For this is the word of the promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by her father Isaac, for the children, and yeah, so then it goes to Isaac, because as I said already, in Isaac shall thy seed be called. But then through Isaac there was what? There was 2. But it says, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. And I'll go into election. It says what? But of him that calleth. And then but it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. So yeah, it was basically set, in the womb, before they were even born, before they'd done anything, before there were even any actions you could call to and say, good or evil. It'd been done through what? Through election. And then you go into the interlinear, and then you go to election. It's
Strong's G 1589, Eklage.
So it says what? The act of picking out, choosing, and then it says of the act of the Most High's free will, by which before the foundation of the world he decreed his blessings to certain persons. So yeah, that's what that election is. That election is what? Is these nations have been set up, have been selected already before these nations have been set. Let me just say it plainly. So like there's men that have been set already to be of the elect. As far as for the nation, it's only dealing with Israel. Israel's the only nation that's been set. And then amongst Israel, there's been set those that are of the elect. And it says the decree made by choice, by which he determined to bless certain people through Yahushua by grace alone, of persons the Most High's elect. So those have been chosen. As it said, they hadn't been born. It basically been, these things were determined already, as far as for, who's of the election now, those that are coming, those that are called, those that are chosen, the disparities between them, those who are gonna, those various forms, as far as how the seed's gonna be fostered. Some will be on, some will find the good soil, some will be left out in the sun and be scorched, some are gonna, wither. Those various states that you're gonna have, where you have the elect, where they find the good soil, those who those men are has been set. But then, as far as for us, that's not something we. Hey, there's angels where they're able to discern these things, but as far as for us, we're basically playing it out to where we don't, we're trying to fulfill. It's through actions on this side where that will be clarified. But then, as far as to know, there's for us now, there's no guarantee. So to say, John 15:16, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that ye should go forth and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. Yeah, so essentially, this is not a matter of, election is something that can't be chosen. You're basically it's something where okay, no, I went in the wrong order. So I'll come back to that. So So it's then on from Romans 9. Okay. So 1 Peter 1:1, it says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua, to the strangers scattered through Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of the Most High, the Father, through the sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Now you go to this, you're going to think, oh, well, there's Asians in there. There's Galatians, there's Cappadocia, there's there's Gentiles, there's straight heathens up in there, up in the mix. And it said what, they're elected as well. But then, if you're going to combine that with how out of, the families of the earth, there wasn't going to be another family that was known, you're then going to be like, okay, they'll be like, oh, that's a contradiction. That don't make no sense. But then, that's where, it comes down to the Israelite foreigners. As far as for those, of the election outside of the main Commonwealth, where in that time, 2,000 years ago, the main Commonwealth was the land of Judea. You had the 10 tribes that had gone over to the Americas, but then you had the bulk of Israel that was left in Judea. But then you had a scattering, because it was in Deuteronomy 28 as well, that you're going to be scattered in various other scriptures. And then you go even to Acts 2 is a good example of where you had a bunch of Israelites coming from all these different regions of the earth and coming to show themselves for those 3 times a year that they had to come show themselves for the high holy days. So with those with that, you already know there's Israelites that were scattered, those that they can go back and their lineage leads back to amongst Israel. But then what, they would have been scattered amongst the heathen, either living thinking on one of the heathen, or they could have living thinking on one of the heathen, or they could have known no Israelites, and then like those men in Acts, been observing the laws as being in order. But then what's the as far as if it's still going back to that same seed, because like I said, it goes through the men, the male line, through the fathers, father to son, you'll still be an Israelite. A Israelite man can go pop an Elamite, can go pop an Edomite, can go pop Ammonite or whatever, and then you're gonna have an Israelite come out. regardless of the complexion. They might just look like a straight up white boy, a straight up Ammonite or whatever. But then it's in as far as for what the reality of it, that's an Israelite, man. So I read this, Romans 11 and 5. It says, even so, then at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace, then is it no more of works? Otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise work is no more work. So yeah, there was that remnant according to the election of grace. And as far as it's like how that election plays out, it's what, through grace, as far as, because you got those that would have been amongst the heathen, where they'll be of the elect, but then there would have been, they've been worshiping Zeus, eating heathen meats, dressing themselves like a heathen, not having the fringes or border of blue. But then what? There was grace basically covering them, where they're not liable for those sins that they did, but that was only whilst they're within, under the sacrifice of Yahushua. But then it requires works as well. Works is part of fulfilling that grace, which is why it's on this side it's doing the works. That's essentially a showcase, of you being a member of the elect. So it says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. And yeah, that's the thing is at this stage, you had, when you go back to Egypt, the Exodus from Egypt, under Moses, then you had the whole nation come out. But then what? Now you have where it's only the elect, only those of the elect being dealt with. You go back to after what happened after the Exodus to Egypt, then you had a bunch of Israelites, worshiping the golden calf, saying, "Yo, we want to go back to Egypt. Egypt was good for us, but this is that." Just completely off, And then a bunch of them had to roam in the wilderness, and a generation had to be done away with, man. And that's why it's now we're dealing with. It's only about the elect, because that same form of salvation, that's not going to come to pass. And the rest were blinded. So yeah, there's going to be those that aren't of the elect, they're not going to get, and that's among Israel. Amongst the chosen, the nation the Most High is dealing with, there's those that can't get. So obviously the heathens not involved. These Christians ain't gonna be involved. They ain't even got the name. They don't even know what name they're gonna be calling upon. What's it say? Proverbs 31. What's his name and what's his son's name if thou canst tell? You can't even. There's only one name under heaven, and there weren't no J's 2,000 years ago. No one was speaking Hebrew, saying the word Jesus Christ. That wasn't going on. No one was saying the word Jesus Christ, man. Didn't exist. But I'll skip down to verse 11. It says, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid, but rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Yeah, so through, those that aren't, those that aren't of the elect, and it was amongst the bulk of Israel and Judea. Then what? Then them guys, Yahushua went to them. They put him to death, man. These guys didn't want to hear. They want the Most High wasn't dealing with them, man. Like a bulk of them weren't dealing with, other than the elect. The bulk of just being Israelite, that's not good enough. Which is why what? Then those are the elect amongst those Israelite foreigners abroad. And then what? The word went out to them, man, and it flourished. So now back to when I wanted to read it. So John 15:16, it says, "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go out and bring forth fruit, and that fruit should remain, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you ask of the Father in my name, he may give it unto you. There's a name goes again. So that name's necessary, to be part of the elect. And then again, it's not a matter of what you can choose. These guys in the land of Israel 2,000 years ago in the land at the time, they thought them just being in Judea, them being in the land, them knowing about the laws, and they were following the laws, obviously weren't able to fulfill it to perfection, because that's the nature of the flesh. But then what it was essentially, those are the elect now that are being dealt with, those have been chosen. And then, though those amongst, the bulk of Israel, but then you had those abroad, man, being brought in. And then what, the name, that's part of what's given, the word, the understanding, those are the things given to the elect, but then what the rest were blinded. So Psalms 147 and 19, it says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He've not dealt so with any other nation, and as for his judgments, they've not known them. Praise ye the Lord Jehovah. So yeah, the heathen can't come in. These Christians will try and squeeze in. Like, oh, Gentiles. Oh, no Jew or Greek. There's a reason why it's no Jew or Greek or Hellene. Because you had those Israelites where what? You go to, the book of Maccabees, you're going to get into the history of Greece and how they basically took on the customs of the Greeks, the worship of the Greeks. And then through doing that, what happened? They became as Greeks. And and then what you have in the law, treat them as a heathen. So they became as heathens, but then what? You had through the process of time, when it came for the time for the word to go out to the Israelite foreigners, to the foreigners that were abroad, those are the elect among them, where, the word hit them and they're like, yo, bang. And then with grace there was, an umbrella, a means by which they can come in and then be grafted back in. Not some heathen, man. Because Malachi 3 and 6, for I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. And yeah, the Lord said, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Hashem HaKadosh said he changed not. And what specifically, so the sons of Jacob, man, so the Israelites, really for the elect, are not consumed. Because it all goes down to the elect. Now, in the time of the end, it's going to be the elect. The 2/3 of those that don't make it, they're going to have to be brought back in the kingdom, man, through the elect. Which is why even more so, it's all about that elect. Didn't say, therefore, ye sons of men are not consumed. Luke 18 and 7, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you, he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? And yeah, the Most High will avenge his elect. He's not just avenging for everyone. He's avenging for the elect. Because that's who it's about. That's the thing, is you had the portion of time where it was for all Israel, but then that relationship got worn down, got done out. And then there was a need for a mediator. Yahushua was that mediator. Because a relationship, that's the thing, is people are like, oh, the New Testament. New Testament is fixing the Old Testament that was made with the Israelites. That testament was made, and then there was a need for amending. Because why? Because they'd basically broken the old one. There was no means by which the promises that were made unto Abraham could be fulfilled through it. And because what? Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Hashem HaKadosh wanted to, set up Yahushua. And then have him take up that role by which then, those are the elect, could be brought back in, and then, the rest of Israel in the kingdom, through the elect. 2 Timothy 2 and 10, it says, therefore endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushua with eternal glory. Yeah, I endure all things for the elect's sake. It's for the elect. That's what, Paul, I believe, is saying he endures for. Because as far as it's all about the elect, all that's being done for the elect. If you go out and you find, there would have been Israelites out there that would have, they might have even known no Israelites. But then if they went down with Yahweh Shai, that they ain't got nothing to do with them, man. They, knowing you're Israelite don't mean a damn thing. You got people now. You got people in this current day talking about, the Israelites, but talking about burning in hell forever, for eternity. You're just gonna be in hell, just forever. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what on earth is going on. And that's, Yahweh Shai is not within them, and the truth's not within them. That you, like I said, the election have obtained it, but the rest were blinded. They're amongst the portion of the blinded. Finish on this. 2 Peter 1:10 says, "Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, you shall never fail." And yeah, that's really what, as far as if you're of the elect, that's what you be doing in this current time. Now's the time we've had the year to push, and it's already done been set where now's the time to pump, man. It's been the time to pump. Now we're basically on the cusp of where we've seen prophecies being fulfilled of the time of the end. It's so as far as that diligence, that's exactly what the elect would do, man. And it's what you're basically trying to count yourself amongst that number. Just being counted amongst that number, that's the key. It's that hopeful, yeah. For if you do these things, you shall never fail. That's really what it comes down to, man. Give diligence. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom. Yabashim Shah. Bashim Kakdash. Shalom.